Thank you for joining us for the Barbados Today evening news for Monday, December 11. I am Marie-Claire Williams. Police are investigating the sudden death of a 69-year-old man. Police Public Relations Officer, Acting Inspector Roland Cobbler, told Barbados Today that the man's body was found this afternoon about 100 meters from the entrance of the Codrington Riding Stables in Codrington, St. Michael.
Police are at this time conducting investigations into what appears to be a sudden death, which occurred sometime after 3 p.m. here at Waterford, St. Michael, where a 69-year-old male was discovered sitting alongside the road unresponsive. Our investigations are continuing.
The Barbados Investors and Policyholders Alliance is welcoming Parliament's decision to approve the payout of some $91 million to thousands of CLICO policyholders early next year. A new company, New Life Investment Company, will take over the operations of CLICO. And last Friday, Finance Minister Chris Sinclair told Parliament that it will begin operations by February. This paves the way for payouts early in the new year. President of BIPA, June Fowler, said she's pleased that talk is now turning to action, and she's hoping that they will stick to the timelines set for the disbursement of the money.
So this is a stage where we are pleased to see that we've finally gotten here. What we are doing is remaining hopeful that now that the instruments have been approved by Parliament, we are now looking forward to the next phase. And this would be the issuing of the instruments by the central bank. And hopefully we'll see that happen, if not on the December 31st, by the first week in January 2018.
The newly unveiled United Progressive Party candidate for St. Andrew, Rolly Rochford, is accusing the ruling Democratic Labour Party of not allowing residents of White Hill to determine the fate of that community. Heavy rains in November 2014 caused extensive land slippage, rendering the road impassable. And efforts by government to improve the situation have so far been unsuccessful, with cracks beginning to appear in a temporary road built in the area. Last month, government announced plans to relocate residents who have been virtually cut off from the rest of the island. But Rochford told Barbados Today on the sidelines of her launch that this decision needs to be between the people and the government, and not government alone. Housing and Lands Minister Dennis Kelman is defending government's planned sale of state assets to boost foreign reserves. The Frundle Stewart administration is looking to sell the Hilton as well as the Barbados National Terminal Company Limited, both for $100 million. Barbados Today caught up with Kelman at his annual Christmas party on the weekend, and he said despite the criticism, the sales are necessary at this time.
One thing people must remember that the Hilton the oil company will not move from Barbados. It will still remain an asset of the country. So I do not know sometimes why people worry about these things, and I am still a strong believer in old economics. Old economics has taught me that government should only get involved in those things that the private sector is not interested in getting involved. And as soon as the private sector is interested, government should sell, use the foreign exchange also to create economic activity that the private sector would not normally get involved in. And the sale of the Hilton, as you can see, will be replaced by Sam Lord's. And it is important for government to have the foreign exchange to bail out the country. And you would have heard me speaking also that we need to bail out our ports and so on. And the only way we can do that is if we sell some of our assets at the present moment and try to encourage other persons to come on board.
Sports now. St. George South are once again the champions of the David Thompson Memorial Constituency Football Classic. They scored a comfortable 2-0 victory over St. Andrew in last night's final. Playing at Kensington Oval, Romario Watson scored the match's opening goal in the 35th minute with a side-foot finish. Dario Harewood then headed home 13 minutes from time to return the title to St. George.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region. The Guyana Parliament was today suspended after an opposition MP refused to leave the chamber on the Speaker's orders. Members of the opposition People's Progressive Party, Bishop Juan Edgell, refused to leave the chamber even after the Speaker of the National Assembly, Dr. Barton Scotland, ordered the Sergeant-at-Arms to remove him. The issue arose after Scotland said he is sticking to the 2 hours allotted for examination of the budget. But commenting on the incident, Minister of State Joseph Harmon said parliamentary procedures must be followed.
Well, it's not a matter between the Speaker and the MP. It's a matter of what is the lawful position. The Member of Parliament took a certain position. The Speaker made a ruling after several warnings to him. Even after the Speaker gave his ruling, the Speaker told him to leave the chamber. All of you heard him say, "I will not leave," in complete defiance of what the Speaker said. Now, this has nothing to do with who can speak and all of that. It's a question of the rule of law. The Speaker is the person who controls the business in this House. And he cannot, Mr. Edgell or no other member of the House, can decide that they will violate these rules of the House by refusing to take action when the Speaker tells them to do so. If this were to be allowed to go like that, we will have chaos, because no one respects the Speaker's ruling anymore, and we can do as we wish. What's the purpose of having us here in this House? So Mr. Edgell must know, the PPP must know, that the Speaker's ruling must be obeyed.
Further afield, Venezuela's President Nicolás Maduro is looking to next year's presidential election after the ruling Socialist Party dominated mayoral polls. They were helped by a partial boycott by the opposition, as 3 of the biggest opposition parties did not field candidates. The full results were due today, but so far results indicate that he has won 21 of the 23 state capitals. More in this Reuters report.
A rare breather for Venezuela's President Nicolás Maduro, whose Socialist Party is on course to dominate the country's mayoral election ahead of a presidential vote in 2018. Maduro said the government had won at least 90% of the vote in over 330 areas. Sunday's election victory was helped by a partial boycott of 3 opposition parties who protested the system they say serves Maduro's, quote, dictatorship. He says those parties should be banned from taking part in next year's presidential race, adding that they will, quote, disappear from the political map. Maduro's popularity has fallen by half since he came to power in 2013, following the death of Hugo Chavez. Venezuela has endured one of the worst economic meltdowns in Latin American history. Millions are skipping meals, missing medicines, and lining up for hours at shops during acute shortages and crippling inflation. Foreign pressure has hardened too, after US President Donald Trump imposed sanctions on the country for alleged government rights abuses and corruption. But with loyalists on his side, Maduro is expected to be the Socialist Party's candidate in the 2018 election. Timing for the vote is key. There's speculation that the pro-Maduro election board will bring the vote forward to the first half of the year, giving opposition parties a short window to unite.
And finally, Britain's Prime Minister Theresa May today hailed a new sense of optimism in Brexit talks. She told Parliament that an agreement to move negotiations onto future trade ties is progressing.
We are going to leave, but we're going to do so in a smooth and orderly way, securing a new, deep and special partnership with our friends while taking back control of our borders, money and laws once again.
That's news this evening. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune in to Mix 96.9 FM for more news. I am Mary Claire Williams. Have a good evening.